Now, this is what you do to a team like the Twins when you're trying to fight your way back into a playoff position. You need to beat these types of teams.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. Today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. With me, as usual, my co-host, Brian McKeon. Brian.
Now, that's how you win a baseball game.
And a series. They won a series. They remembered how to do it. Oh, right. They're playing the Twins. Before we get started, don't forget, subscribe to Locked On Yankees on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like our videos, hit the bell so you're notified whenever our videos go live. And we have a TikTok page. If you're there, follow us if you can at LockedOn_Yankees. On today's show, we preview the final game of the Yankees Twins series. And we talk about the Yankees' new starting catcher. But first, let's talk about Yankees Twins Game 2. Now, this is what you do to a team like the Twins when you're trying to fight your way back into a playoff position. You need to beat these types of teams.
Yeah, it's the first time that they've won a series since the All-Star break before the final game of the series has been played. So that's a really positive sign for the Yankees. This is how you win a baseball game. Really good starting pitching. The offense was clicking. This is how they want to win baseball games. You get a home run from Stanton, a home run from Judge. They rarely lose in those situations. And Carlos Rodón is the storyline we should lead off with before we get into the offensive performances. Best start as a Yankee?
Close.
Maybe the most dominant he's looked in one, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he was electric.
Yeah, he was, the first inning was kind of like a weird blip. And then after that, nothing happened.
30 pitches in the first inning. So you're thinking after that first inning, there's no way that he gives you more than 4, maybe 5 if you're lucky at this point with 30 pitches in the first inning. And then Stacey, he cruises. Third innings got 7 pitches. He got 11 in 2 other innings, 9 in a separate inning after that. Unbelievable performance out of him after that. Got to be proud of the effort that he gave. That first inning, when he loads the bases with nobody out, is a spot last year, the year prior, where Carlos Rodón has an absolute meltdown.
I would say more the year before. I would say more 23. Like
fair. Fair. Yeah. And more better to that point, I guess, if I could advance it. After the ground ball, he gets the strikeout. The ground ball to Volpe, where he plays it a little too far back. To Volpe's point, that was not a real easy ball to judge. So plays it a little far back. Gets the ball a little late. They just barely missed turning a double play and the run scores. 2 years ago, to your point, that next pitch is a fastball down the middle of the plate that's hit for a 3-run shot and the game is broken wide open.
Yeah.
And Rodón instead kept his composure, got out of the inning, kept the Yankees at a 1-run game, and then the Yankees took it from there. So unbelievable performance out of him. He was really, really good the rest of that game. Only 5 strikeouts. His strikeout numbers have been down of late, but only 1 hit in the entire ball game. I mean, you really can't ask for better than what you got out of Rodón.
So he's up to 164 on the season. Correct. With those 5?
I'm rooting for the 200. I don't know if we'll get there, but I'm really rooting for it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, this was a good start. This is the type of game where you want him to get things going again. And this is the perfect type of team to do that because from what I was watching, because especially against Tim Hill and De Los Santos, those guys were just swinging. And when they're just swinging, you're going to have 7 pitch innings, 9 pitch innings because they want to try and kill the ball. Well, they're not doing anything.
And they're in bleep it mode. Yeah. They don't care. Like they're online after the games looking at new golf bags to buy because it's close to the end of the season for them. And honestly, a lot of those guys probably can't wait for the season to end. There's a selection of guys in that team like Byron Buxton who cannot wait to hit the golf courses, and they've already got Sandals vacation trips booked. And then there's another group of guys on that team that are trying to play as hard as they possibly can every night because they're trying to buy themselves a roster spot for next year.
Yeah.
So it is a tough spot, and with rosters like that, you're gonna find nights where you lose to teams like that because they're playing with a not care at all attitude. And then you're going to find games like tonight where that team loses 9-1 and is never really competitive because they're not good enough, quite frankly. But this is what the Yankees have to do. And if the Yankees played consistently like they did in the first month and still had an 8-game lead in the division, they could drop tomorrow. Tomorrow could be a punt lineup because you can afford necessarily to lose that game tomorrow. You don't want to lose games, but you get my point. I better see Stanton in the lineup tomorrow. I better see Judge in the lineup tomorrow. I better see Ben Rice catching tomorrow. They need to go out there and put their A-game lineup out there because Stacey, they haven't afforded themselves to put a punt lineup out.
Right.
And I know it's not past Boone to do that, but they haven't afforded themselves the chance to put that kind of lineup out there. They have to go sweep the series.
Yeah, because you're going up against a pitcher who's good.
Really good.
Yeah, he's really good. He's their ace. So you can't. You also have an off day on Thursday. So why would you even punt the lineup? Because they're going to have the day off on Thursday.
Well, I mean, you sound very sensible and educated making that point right now. Would you put it past the manager?
Oh, no, but
that's my point. Like we can make that point 1,000 times right here and be like, yeah, they're off Thursday. Why would they do that? How many times have you seen Judge sit when they have a day off the next day?
Judge, Rizzo, when Rizzo was playing, they did it to Stanton. There was one time where Judge and Rizzo, I think, had a day off, and everyone was like, "Hello, they're not playing tomorrow. What are you doing?" Yeah, no, you.
I'm
can't
just saying
that.
it's 2 straight days in the outfield now for Stanton.
Yeah.
So I do have a fear that when tomorrow's lineup comes out around 3 p.m., you're going to see Stanton out of the lineup, and it's going to want to make me punch a wall because you can't afford he's your best hitter now.
Right now he is.
He is.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, a 4-hit game, 4 for 5, a 447-foot bomb, which was outrageous. Well, to left center, outrageous.
Yeah.
Halfway up the bleachers.
I mean, that was like
nuts.
Yeah, that looked more like I don't know. That was a lot. He hit that really, really far. That was crazy.
Judge is the one that went the other way. It went to right center in the bullpen, which looked like a bomb. That was 425, and Stanton's made Judge's look like a baby home run. It was crazy how far he hit that baseball. It reminded me of the walk-off grand slam they had a few years ago, Stanton. The one to center field that he hit, where he put it in that like garage kind of Toyota area they have in left center. That's what it reminded me of. Just absolutely obliterating the baseball.
Yeah.
He's seeing the ball like a beach ball right now. He's in one of those Giancarlo Stanton playoff modes right now.
Yeah.
And again, he can't come out of the lineup.
No.
He can't. I'm sorry. Like he has to play a third straight. If you're a professional athlete and you can't play 3 straight days, enough protecting the guys. And again, with the way that you played all year, you haven't afforded yourself the ability to protect Stanton.
But he's the type of guy who would want to go in. So I hope he talks himself.
I'm not blaming him.
I hope he talks himself into the lineup if Boone has the idea of keeping him out.
Yeah, I'm not blaming Stanton. I think Stanton wants to play every single day. In fact, I think Stanton wants to play the field every day.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think Stanton could run faster than he runs on the base paths. I do, and I think he wants to. I think he's just being told to hold up.
It's easier to hit when you're playing in the field because you're not sitting for half an inning. You're doing
and you're
something.
not focused on your at bat. You're not letting your mind cycle. A lot of players have cited that as being a problem. Is when you struggle in at bat too, your mind starts to go crazy when you're sitting there overanalyzing everything until your next at bat. But overall, great offensive day. His first 4 hit games since August of 2023. His last triple was in Fenway. He was a triple shy of the cycle. That would have been pretty outrageous to see Giancarlo Stanton hit a triple. Volpe homer, that really broke the game open too, was a really good sign. Volpe's power has really been there since the deadline. And Jazz had a great game too, right? A lot of stolen bases in this game. He had a triple at this game late in the game too. 2 stolen bases. Read this crazy stat to us, please.
Okay, so this is from James Smythe of Yes, because that's where I get all my cool info. I don't know how these research people get these things so fast. I don't know how they do it. But Jazz Chisholm is the first Yankee with a triple and 2 or more stolen bases in a game since, get this, Miguel Cairo on July 5th, 2006 in Cleveland.
I mean, what a weird stat. I mean, that is such a weird stat.
Can we talk about the inning that Tim Hill had? Because he didn't really have to do much. It was a 1-2-3 inning, and it was like barely any pitching.
Are you surprised that Devin Williams wasn't used? This feels like a spot to put him in and get
I
him
was
some work.
actually surprised that he wasn't put in when they were up 9-1 in the top of the 9th. I was shocked by that.
This just felt like, okay, You want him to be your closer, so you have an opportunity to use him in the ninth inning here. You like to actually, I mean, it still is the same kind of repertoire that he's going to go through in the same preparation to go through pitching in the ninth inning.
Yeah.
You have an opportunity to use him in the ninth inning in a low leverage situation with not a lot of pressure, and then you don't use him. Weird to me.
How much you want to bet we're going to see him tomorrow?
100%.
Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notification so you know when our videos go up. You can also join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. The link is in the description. You'll get texts from us. You can text us questions, comments, reactions to trades and signings. We send out lineups during the season, roster moves, and breaking news so you don't have to check social media. There's a 14-day free trial, although I did not send out the news that JC Escara was recalled because I didn't see that news and didn't realize that he was until he got into the game on Tuesday night. Yeah. So I apologize for that because I'm usually on top of that. But anyway, again, 14-day free trial. Please join us there. Coming up, is Ben Rice the new starting catcher? We're going to discuss next.
Guys, if you're running a business, you know that every missed call is potential money left on the table. Think about the last time that you had a service emergency like a burst pipe. If the first plumber didn't answer, did you just wait? No, of course, you called the next one. And that's why having a reliable business line is so important. And that's exactly why you need OpenPhone. OpenPhone is the #1 business phone system that helps you streamline and scale customer communication, all from an app on your phone or computer. Did you used to juggle 2 phones just to keep business and personal calls separate? OpenPhone solved that instantly. And the AI agent handles after-hour calls, answers common questions, and it captures leads so you never miss a customer ever again. OpenPhone is now offering Locked On Yankees listeners 20% off your first 6 months at openphone.com/LockedOnMLB. That's OpenPhone.com/LockedOnMLB. And if you have existing numbers with another service, OpenPhone will port them over at no extra charge. OpenPhone, no missed calls, no missed customers.
If you're an everydayer, you know that we have Fan Mail Friday every week. And if you're new to the show, we're going to explain Fan Mail Friday to you. You ask us questions, we answer them. We have the Insiders Club. They go first. They submit their questions through our Insiders Club. But if you watch us on YouTube, we have a way for you to leave questions for us. So you go to our main page, you click on posts, and you will see the latest post that I leave. It says, leave your Fan Mail Friday question here. The deadline is always Thursday, and it's always 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time.
Well, Stacey, after Fan Mail Friday, a bonus show we're going to have coming out for the weekend for you guys will be Emmanuel Berbari, the Yankees pre- and post guy on the radio on WFAN. He will be coming on with us to discuss what the vibe is like in that Yankee clubhouse, hopefully following a Minnesota Twin sweep. But we'll be discussing that before the Yankees weekend series begins against the Cardinals. Should be fun, and you guys are going to be very interested in that to see what the vibe is around that clubhouse. I know I'm certainly pretty interested in it. If you guys have noticed lineup-wise, something very interesting, Austin Wells has pretty much been demoted at this point. Ben Rice is pretty much playing catcher every single day. I prefer this move. I think you are pretty much in lockstep with that, right? And the numbers kind of support it too, right?
Yes. I wonder, are they going to use the nerve issue as an excuse for sitting Wells?
Maybe. It does feel like we're long past that issue, so I can't imagine it's still bugging him to the level where he can use it as a playtime excuse. But I don't know. I mean, let's be real, Stacey. He has not been good this year, and really since the trade down, has been one of the worst statistical hitters in baseball. He cannot hit the breaking ball this year. He can't. He's faced in hitters that have qualified and faced over 200 sliders this year. He's hitting .45. So he's terrible this year against breaking balls, and guys know to throw him them. It's gotten to that point where it's very obvious. Also,
he's basically Pedro Serrano from Major League.
Well, and here's the thing too. The fielding for Ben Rice, which was always the caveat of why he can't play catcher, has unbelievably improved.
Yes.
Especially last year, he was one of the worst fielding catchers when you equate AAA catchers in, because he was doing a lot of catching down there, just I guess for reps and for work. We were discussing it last year on the show. Well, it improved drastically. Apparently, he worked at it a lot in the wintertime. We discussed that with you guys too. They did a lot of bullpens with him in spring training, and his fielding statistics are actually really good at this point, Stacey. So, Austin Wells' claim to fame, I guess, in catching, or his reason for why he plays every single day and why the Yankees love him so much, is his frame rate. He is one of the better framers in all of baseball of stealing strikes. Well, so far this year, Ben Rice's stolen strike rate, which is a real stat, which is crazy because analytics have gone that far. It's basically a stat that measures how well you're framing pitches and how many strikes per game you're stealing.
I actually saw a couple in Tuesday's game.
Oh, it's especially with how bad the umpires are nowadays. It's a little bit weighted because of how bad they are. But regardless, Ben Rice's stat on that stat is only 0.1 behind Austin Wells' stat in that stat. And that's supposedly Austin Wells' best quality is his framing. If it's that close, what reason do they have to play Austin Wells over Ben Rice at this point? Because Ben Rice's bat is far better than Austin Wells.
Yeah. We talked about the catching situation. We talked about what's going to happen when Stanton comes back. Who's going to be the backup catcher? How are they going to do this if Ben Rice is still hitting well and they need Stanton in the lineup? And then they send Descara down to AAA, but then they bring him back up. Do you think it gets to a point where Rice is the starting catcher and Descara is the backup and Wells is the odd man out?
I don't think sending Austin Wells down would be the worst thing in the world. Like, I think it's very different than the Volpe situation, even though they came up around the same time. Volpe was named the starting shortstop deliberately out of camp. He won a job. And let's be real, too. People were talking about Volpe at the major league level when he was in AA, when he was in single A, as this next up-and-coming star. No one was mentioning Austin Wells in those talks. Now, we were on the show and, diehard Yankee fans knew of Austin Wells, but no one around Major League Baseball was talking about Austin Wells as this next coming great prospect that was coming up. So I don't think sending Austin Wells down would do so much damage to him that he can't recover. It could be a nice reset for him, especially if they need that roster spot, and they're going to need that with Fernando Cruz coming back. It's not like that roster spot's not going to be necessary for them. It's clearly a thing where he's going to need to reset. This year kind of feels like a little bit of a wash at this point for Austin Wells with how bad he's been. And let's be real, like you said it perfectly. With how good Ben Rice has been, when the playoffs hit, if they make the postseason, and especially, let's be real, the next month and a half are postseason games. Every game they need to win because they need to get in.
Yeah.
What's the justification in playing Austin Wells over Ben Rice? There is none. There is none, especially once he catches up in the frame rate. The only place Austin Wells beats Rice is in arm strength. Ben Rice does not have a great arm down to second base. Austin Wells has a decent arm, but Austin Wells is not exactly Pudge Rodriguez back there either. Like, you know what I mean? He's not throwing every guy out that's stealing either. I don't think Austin Wells is that much better at any singular thing to make him play over Ben Rice. Something Austin Wells did have too is certain pitchers would pitch really good with him. Well, Will Warren in his last 4 starts with Rice catching him in all those starts, by the way, has now a 1.74 ERA. Carlos Rodón pitched terrific with Rice catching him in a second straight night, by the way. Also, this stat's going to blow your mind. And I referenced it. I looked it up. I cross-checked it, fact-checked it, whatever you want to call it, to confirm that it was true because I was that blown away by seeing the stat. Ben Rice is hitting like a top 10 hitter in the sport right now when it comes to actually making contact. And I know I am 1 zillion% going to see a comment on this video tomorrow when you guys watch on YouTube. This guy said Ben Rice is a top 10 hitter in the sport. Give me a break. Get serious. Let me tell you the names that Ben Rice's expected weighted on-base average, that is an actual stat, the names that he has a lower expected weighted on-base average than in Major League Baseball. You ready, Stacey? Listen to these names. Judge, Soto, Ohtani, Schwarber, Vlad Guerrero Jr., Ketel Marte, Corey Seager, Pete Alonso. Those are the only players with a better expected weighted on-base average than Ben Rice this year. And that basically takes into account where on the field you hit the ball and your exit velo. So we've stated this many times. There are tons of references of Ben Rice hitting the absolute bleep out of a ball. And it gets caught. It gets hit to the wrong spot, a la Austin Wells last year. Mm-hmm. And Ben Rice has been that guy this year. And I love this stat because it does equate for that kind of stuff of what your average should be based on how your contact is, your barrel rate, and the catch probability of the guy catching the ball. And those are the only names with a higher expected on base than Ben Rice. Think about that for a second.
Yeah, because when you go to his baseball savant page and you look at the stats where it's either all in red or some are in blue, most of his hitting stats are in red. So when you look at it, you think to yourself, wow, this guy should be hitting like so much better than he is. And that's the reason why he's not, because he's hitting the ball like right to people. He didn't hit the ball right to someone on Monday night when he smacked that home run. He hit the tar out of that ball, and he's bigger than he was last season. So he's stronger than he was last season.
You can see it.
You know, there's a definite difference in his body shape, and you can tell that he was working hard in the off season. And
he's also, Joe Girardi pointed this out, he's also catching from the knee. And that is a thing that catchers used to never do, and it allows Ben Rice to keep himself in the lineup more often, which I think is also a plus too. But he has been with the hitting. This is kind of the beauty of where analytics can help, and where they can tell a story that's not being told in the field. Again, I'm indifferent on analytics. I don't love that there's no heartbeat, and you don't know what's going on with the player's personal life. Analytics can't tell you those kind of things. Analytics can tell you these kind of things about a guy that's hitting the absolute, tar out of a baseball all year, and guys are just making great plays on him, or he's putting it really in guys' gloves. Ben Rice is doing that this year, but that's a guy you keep in the lineup, and that stat will keep him in the lineup, I think.
Yep. All right, coming up, we'll preview the finale between the Yankees and the Twins, and we have news from around the league next.
Guys, we've all been there. We've been logging on early and waiting forever for concert tickets to go on sale, and then you lose your spot for a show that you've been dying to see. Live music should be about making memories, not dealing with the stress of ticket shopping, and that's where Gametime comes in. Gametime makes getting concert tickets faster and easier than ever. The prices actually drop as it gets closer to showtime, and you can save up to 60% off with their killer last-minute deals. Are you tired of endless scrolling, trying to find the best deal? Gametime Zone Deals helps pick you the best seats in the section for you. And if you ever wonder what your view will look like before you buy tickets, the app shows you a panoramic seat view, so there are no surprises when you get to the seats. With Gametime, the price you pay is the price that you see on the actual app. There are no hidden fees. So take the guesswork out of buying concert tickets and show tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app today, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guarantee. And guys, not only do we cover your team every single day, but we're now giving you instant episodes after every single game. Check out the Locked On Yankees postcast. It's hosted by Jay Berman, and it appears right here on the Locked On Yankees podcast feed after the final out. It also streams on our YouTube channel. Get rapid reaction to all the biggest moments on the Locked On Yankees postcast. Stacey, I wanted to add from that last segment, Boone's comment when asked if Austin Wells has been demoted and if Ben Rice is now the starting catcher. Do you want to take a guess of what he said?
No.
Verbatim, I don't know, we'll see. Glad there's a lot of confidence being shown in a player from Aaron Boone, when he never fails to show confidence in players, except when a player actually needs confidence, then he fails to do it, of course. Wednesday's finale, where I hope Ben Rice will be catching Cam Schlittler, who is 1-2 with a 4.38 ERA. He'll go against Joe Ryan, who is going to be in contention for the American League Cy Young. Probably won't win it, but is in contention for it. One of the surprising players that Minnesota didn't trade at the trade deadline. I'm actually still surprised about that. He's 11-5 with a 2.79 ERA. This game is a Prime Video game, and it will be a 7.05 start. I wouldn't call it a must-win as of yet, but they got to have this game.
Yeah. They did this to themselves. You've said it. They did this to themselves. They made it where they have to win every series going forward, and they need to sweep teams like the Twins.
Yep.
Or else it's a failure.
Advantage. It is. No, you're totally right. You have to take advantage of teams of this. You are better than them. Your roster is better than them. Your payroll is significantly higher than theirs.
Yeah.
You need to win these games. And like I said, you put yourself in this situation. You have no one else to blame but yourself. Some news from around the league, because this is pretty cool. Major League Baseball did announce, Stacey, That game one of the World Series will be on October 24th. I don't think it will affect our schedule because the Yankees probably will not be there. But the playoff schedules, if you go to MLB.com, are all announced of when different series will start. If you're looking for specific teams and when they'll start, we don't know that necessarily yet. We just kind of know what dates those series will start. So that's pretty cool. They haven't done this in years past, actually. They've, believe it or not, which is kind of annoying. I don't know if you guys have realized this. They've waited until the series prior is coming to a close to announce when the next one will start. And I used to hate that because for someone who worked different jobs and different radio stations, I would always try to like to know when they're playing certain games, and you would never be able to figure it out. This makes me feel a little better for, future years when the Yankees are planning on making deep playoff runs, that I know when the series are starting. Good news for the Yankees. I guess this would have been better news to hear a week ago, but Josh Hader will be heading to the IL with shoulder discomfort. Never a good thing to hear. The Astros have offered no timetable on how long he'll be out. That's also not a good thing. Would have been nice for the Yankees not to see him in the last week, but, that's, of course, what happens to them this year. Also, the Brewers, have you checked out how good they've been, Stacey? It's unbelievable how well they're playing.
Yeah, I know. They're on a run. And it would be kind of amazing if they end up being the team that goes all the way and wins, especially after what the Yankees did to them in the opening series.
Well, that absolutely is crazy. I didn't even think of it that way. I wasn't. I was more thinking you were going in the Devin Williams direction. Is they in the last 5 years they have traded away two generational numbers-wise closers in Devin Williams and Josh Hader, and their bullpen is the best bullpen in baseball. Maybe. I mean, it's that good. Get this stat. This is a crazy stat. So, in games this year, where the pitcher leaves the starting pitcher leaves the game in line for the win, which again, of course, means you have a lead after 5 innings of completed baseball. In games where the starting pitcher has a lead when leaving the game, the Twins bullpen has surrendered, has stopped that starting pitcher from
Brewers.
The Brewers. The Brewers bullpen has stopped that pitcher from getting the win in 2 games this year. So again, in games this year where a Brewers starting pitcher leaves the game with a win intact, that pitcher has failed to actually seal the win in 2 games this year. The Yankees have done it 11 times. They have stopped their starting pitcher from getting the win. 2 times has a bullpen essentially blown a game for a starter this year. That's an amazing stat to be a part of. They have now won 11 in a row after beating the Pirates 14-0 on Tuesday night. They also on Paul Skeens went 4 innings, 6 hits, 3 earned, only 4 strikeouts. His ERA now is ballooned to 2.13. The Brewers are electric, and they could win the World Series. They've run away with the division over the Cubs, who are also having a great year.
Yeah. Well, the Cubs are kind of, from what I'm seeing, because I follow a bunch of Cubs fans, like you would think that they're completely bottoming out. They're not completely bottoming out, but most Cubs fans were mad that the Cubs didn't really do anything at the deadline because they thought, hey, we're doing well. We don't need to do anything.
Well, there's a point there.
And the Brewers were like, all right, well, then we're just going to pull ahead of you and like really pull ahead of you.
They were even at the deadline. Going into that series, that Cubs-Brewers series in Milwaukee, they were even going into that series. Stacey, and the Cubs won that series, by the way.
Yeah.
They took 2 out of 3 in Milwaukee. The Cubs are now 7.5 behind the Brewers in about a week and a half's time. They've been that good. It's unbelievable how good the Brewers have been. I don't know if the starting pitching power is there. They do have good starters. Woodruff obviously still there. I don't know if it's good enough to win a World Series, but they are a tough out. And by the way, Yankee fans, not to pour salt in the wound, but Caleb Durbin's having a really nice year for them. Really nice year. And Alex Bregman returned to Houston. I'm curious to know where your emotions sit with this. Just hear me out for a second. Alex Bregman returned to Houston last night, was given a tribute video before the game started, was cheered during the tribute video, got a standing ovation, gave him the curtain call. First inning, hits a 2-run homer and is booed around the bases, and then booed the rest of the game whenever he made a play or hit one. On par for Houston fans, sure. But How does this one make you feel?
I don't care. I don't care. Boo him all you want. He doesn't play for you anymore.
It is funny. to get cheered like that, and then the first inning hit a 2-run shot.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. Red Sox also not playing well of late. Actually keeping the Yankees in that wild card race, to be honest with you. Just to update you guys on that wild card race with the Yankees, they still hold on to the 3rd spot. They have a 1-game lead over Cleveland, and then Texas, who hasn't been able to win in the last week, they are now 3.5 behind the Yankees. You have to remember they got it back.
Wow.
They got it back to. They got it. Yeah, it moved quick because they got it back to a half-game lead in that series they play each other. Now it's a 3.5 games. They're behind the Yankees. Cleveland's only a game behind. The Red Sox are only a game and a half over the Yankees. So it is tight, that race. It is really tight.
The last I saw, the Red Sox were winning on Tuesday night 5-0.
Yeah, and Seattle, who doesn't lose, they moved ahead of Houston in the division.
Carlos Narvaez hit a home run for the Red Sox, a 3-run home run, because it's always nice seeing former Yankees playing well for other teams.
Where does Ben Rice play in 2 years?
Oh, God. I hope not. I know he grew up there, but he grew up a Yankee fan. Ugh. That'd be a nightmare. All right, well, thank you for making Locked On Yankees.
JC Escara is 100% going to get picked up by the Rays and hit like 320 against the Yankees.
Yeah.
He reeks of a player like that. Am I wrong?
No. It could possibly happen. Yeah. All right, thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. You get local analysis on a national scale. You can find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. So that'll do it for this episode of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gatsoulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We'll catch you guys tomorrow.